The Jacksonville Jaguars did not do enough to protect Trevor Lawrence in 2021. They draft him first overall. He is the golden child. He is who the Jaguars expect to be able to take them to the promised land to hoist the Lombardi. The only problem is they didn't do that. The Jaguars need to build their Great Wall of Duval. It needs to happen, and they need to put just a massive wall in front of Trevor Lawrence to protect him. Because if you look at who the Jaguars play this year, it is lineup after lineup after lineup of very good pass rushers. They're going to need to protect. In 2021, can you chop up some of it to the fact that it was rookie jitters? Yes. But there was also times when it just looked like, Jawan Taylor was getting pushed into Trevor's lap. Tyler Shatley, whenever Linder was out, was just getting manhandled by whoever the nose tackle was. A lot of the offensive linemen in Jacksonville last year struggled. Obviously, you're going to get beat every once in a while. But if the most recent Super Bowl taught us one thing, it's that great offensive weapons can get you to the dance, but good offensive line play keeps you dancing. Now, obviously the Bengals are expected to come back next year and be a favorite in the AFC, but it's because they've upgraded their offensive line. They are going to be one of the front runners in the AFC because now they have the offensive line that they can look at and say this is good, and then also have the weapons, the Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, those players to caveat against the offensive line. Now, back to the Jaguars. Both OLineStats.com and Pro Football Focus have the Jaguars in 2021 in the bottom half of offensive line play throughout the league. The offensive line does have some really good, interesting points about it, where you look at, how is Brandon Sheriff going to play in his first year in Jacksonville? What is the right tackle spot going to look like? Who the hell is going to play left guard? That is still, I guess you can pencil in Ben Bartch right now, and Cam Robinson just signed his franchise tag, so you could probably say he's going to be your franchise left tackle for the foreseeable future. Hopefully they can get a deal done with him soon. Let's just review the 2021 offensive line real quick. You had Cam Robinson, who played his best year of football in a Jaguars uniform last year. Andrew Norwell was brought in to be the final piece to a 2017 campaign. He was expected to be able to take that offense to the next level. Never really did. Never played to the all-pro performance that he had in Carolina. He is now a member of the Washington Commanders. Brandon Linder, he was considered the elder statesman of the offensive line and arguably the entire Jaguars roster. Now that he's gone, he was one of the longest tenured Jaguars. Right guard was just a position of a lot of turmoil. The incumbent coming into the season, A.J. Cann, started off the year as a starter, and then he's the proud owner of the lowest PFF score I have ever seen for a starter. He got a whopping 3.4 pass blocking grade. You can't do anything with that. When you're talking about protecting a guy that's going to be throwing the ball 40 times probably a game, you can't have a single digit and below 5 PFF score for pass blocking. Cannot happen. Ben Bartch takes over after A.J. Cann has the season-ending injury. And Bartch played like a guy that the Jaguars expected to have and expected to, get that level of performance out of when you draft him out of St. John's in the 4th round. He played very well, and I'm excited to see what 2022 looks like for him. I honestly think he could be a contender for one of the 5 starting spots. Now, Jawan Taylor struggled horribly. I can't say that enough. I wish, put him on a meteor, blast him into the sun, get him the hell out of Jacksonville, or don't have him starting. Please, no. He led the league in penalties and also allowed 34 pressures. You cannot have that. And teams were eating, Jawan Taylor's lunch, breakfast, dinner, and then they were going over to his friend's house and eating their breakfast, lunch, and dinner because they were like, "You're friends with Jawan Taylor? All right, that's mine now." So, got to get rid of that. I know the team drafts Walker Little with their second round pick in 2020. He's got to at least be in the competition for that right tackle spot. I have him penciled in as the starter. I don't see how Jawan Taylor is going to beat out somebody that played as well as Walker Little did, whenever Cam Robinson was down at left tackle. So for me, that's how I've got it shaken out right now. But pick number 1. The Jaguars have a couple options they can use here. If they don't see their offensive line, especially that left side of the field, being up to par, obviously you have NC State offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu, and then you have Alabama tackle Evan Neal. If Neal is the pick, he could be locked in as their heir apparent to Cam Robinson at that left tackle position. A couple different people have said if you take Neal, Cam's gone. You got to find somewhere for him to go now that he signed that franchise tag. And if, because Ekwonu can play guard. Both of them have played guard. Ekwonu is the best run blocker of the three of them, of Cross, Neal, and Ekwonu. And Ekwonu would be the left guard of the future if they do go that route. I don't think that you can move Ekwonu over to left tackle and look at that as being fixed. And 1 of 1 is a really high pick. If you're getting Quentin Nelson level play out of him, who's probably the best guard, especially the best young guard in the league, he's if you're getting that level performance out of him, you could probably convince me. But that's tough for me. I'd have a very hard time being on board with Ike Ekwonu. Evan Neal, I could be swayed. Let's say that. If the Jaguars do decide to go with the pretty apparent pick, according to most mock drafts and every talking head and pundit you can find, Aiden Hutchinson's more than likely going to be the number 1 pick for the Jaguars. If the Jaguars do decide to go that route, they're going to be in play for an interior offensive lineman at 33, 65, and 70. One of those three, if one is not to fill a spot on the offensive line. Maybe 33 is kind of a hard one for me. If they do go with Aiden Hutchinson at the 1-1 selection. Zion Johnson, he would be a slam dunk selection. So would Tyler Linderbaum. Either one of those, if they do escape and you have not taken an offensive lineman yet, I absolutely think you should be running up with that selection card. Mr. Commissioner, why did you let them do this? Why did you let somebody that should be potentially a top 20, top 18 pick fall all the way to 33? Either way, if he's there, you take him. I don't see a way that you leave Zion Johnson or Tyler Linderbaum on the board if you were in desperate need of interior offensive line help. Now, say they do maybe those guys aren't available, and you're looking at pick 65 now. That's a whole you're going the whole second round, and you start of the third. Dylan Parham. He's out of Memphis, and he's someone that has played all over the offensive line. He's played in both guard spots. He's played right tackle, so if you want to look at maybe someone that could compete against Walker Little, because I don't think Jawan Taylor's really going to be able to hold a candle to it unless he just has an absurd off season. PFF says about Parham, at his size right now, center would make the most sense. It won't take much for him to be a starting guard either. When you're looking at someone like that and you're looking at the start of the third round, someone that has that kind of versatility, that's played, all three spots, or can play all three spots in the interior of the offensive line, and even has experience playing on the outer 2 spots. He would be an incredible selection for me at this spot. In his last 3 years at Memphis, he had almost 1,500 pass blocking snaps, and he only gave up 5 quarterback hits off of those 1,500 pass blocking snaps. The quarterback got hit 5 times when Parham's standing in front of that quarterback. He only allowed 33 quarterback hurries. So, hey, incredible numbers right there. Obviously, stats don't tell the whole story, but when you're talking about sacks given up, it's more of a quarterback stat. When you're talking about quarterback hurries and quarterback hits, absolutely a lineman stat. Moving on to another guy that could potentially take at number 65, Zach Tom. Once again, over 600 pass blocking snaps. The numbers are a little less, had 8 pressures and 2 hits in 2021. Obviously, Parham has the 5 and 33 over 3 years, but still, 8 pressures, 2 hits, that's not bad at all. And he could be a very, very cheap replacement for Cam Robinson if the Jaguars, if they see Cam Robinson as a 2022 option and that is it, Tom could be an incredible place here. PFF has to say this about him: his grip strength is a plus. Hands that can control defenders. He's a future starter. Now, obviously, you're going to be loading that team up with tackles. You would have a tackle you took at 45. You'd have a tackle that you franchise tagged twice in a row. And then you would have the first pick of the third round all on your roster. You would have to find something to do with Tom. I don't think you can really sell that you took another tackle and not have him within the starting 5 on that line. Say all hell breaks loose. People are falling that you just can't pass them up. And you're looking at the offensive line now, 4 and later. Really wouldn't be the best option for me, but obviously with the way the board falls, if Doug Peterson does just decide to go best player available and he just says, okay, you're a safety, but you're at 65, but you're a baller. Hey, welcome to the Jaguars. Hey, you're a interior defensive lineman, but you're a dog. Hey, welcome to the Jaguars. Now you're looking at the 4th round for your lineman rather than that 3rd round or the 2nd round selection. So Cole Strange, he's coming out of Chattanooga. He hasn't played a whole lot of elite talent in college, but he played over 500 snaps alone at Chattanooga. And in 300 pass protection snaps, he only allowed 3 quarterback hurries. Now, there's a couple big issues with him. He is 24. So when he's done with his rookie contract, he will be 28. That's pretty wild to think about. A lot of these draft picks are, in that 21 to 23 range. He has already surpassed all of them and is 24. It's a grown-ass man. They call the guys coming out of the draft kids. No, this is a grown-ass dude. He's 1 year away from his car insurance dropping to be in a reasonable amount. But, he does have some issues. And a lot of people are saying that he should be able to grow out of them. He'll be able to be coached out of them. He is a project. Over 300 pass protection snaps in 2021 and only having the 3 hurries, I do think he'd be a viable option whenever you're really looking at playing somebody on the interior of the offensive line. Just even if it's just a depth selection, I would love to see Cole Strange become a Jaguar. Now, Jamari Sawyer out of Georgia, and here's another guy that has a lot of versatility. At some point in his career in Georgia, he played every single position on the offensive line. I love it. I'm very happy that, I would be very happy if the Jaguars did look at people that have a lot of versatility. The Jaguars have struggled with offensive line health in the past. Obviously, this is a new regime, but whether it just be a curse or whatever is going on in Jacksonville, I would love to see people with versatility. Jamari Sawyer has that. He does come with his issues. That Georgia offense was premised off of quick passes. You obviously you're not going to have a bunch of quarterback hits and hurries when you have such a quick-paced offense. And at the same time, he also played very few snaps while he was at Georgia. In 295 pass protection snaps, he had 2 quarterback hurries. Hey, that's a good thing for me, but still, it leaves some issues for how well he will do throughout the length of a season. And will he have any breakdown? Will he get tired? Will his play diminish whenever he has more film to put out there for defenders to attack? These are a lot of options that I do think the Jaguars will be exploring. I'm very excited to see what the Jaguars do throughout this draft. Whether it be pick 1 with Evan Neal or Kwanu, whether, it be pick 35, maybe Zion Johnson falls, maybe Linderbaum falls. I would love either of those guys. I think they'd be a steal. And, I would even be considering calling, maybe I can go into 30, maybe I can go into 29 and to, get that 5th-year option if Zion Johnson or Tyler Linderbaum is available. Because, that 5th-year option is a huge plus whenever you're talking about big money guys. Then at 65, you have Dylan Parham, like I said. He can play center. He can play guard. He'd be a slam dunk for me. Zach Tom, he's a future starter. Obviously, PFF thinks the world of him. Over 600 pass blocking snaps, 8 pressures and 2 hits. Jamari Sawyer and Cole Strange both have a lot of versatility, and they both have their flaws about them. They would be late round selection. They'd be project selections, but still, I would love to see them in Jaguars uniforms. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you will, drop a comment down below. When do you guys think the Jaguars are going to take their first offensive lineman? I'm honestly going to go with 2nd round. I do think that either Johnson or Linderbaum is going to end up falling. And, hey, if not, 65 would be great too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and go Jaguars.
How about them Jags?
Come on, Joe! Ah! Thank you, baby! Thank you! You make it blood come from my damn mouth!